All right, y'all. Hopefully you were real impressed with Mr. Krabs. Again, no college degree, but spent enough time working with money numbers that he is an excellent math magician. I'm just kidding, kids. It's not magic. It's math. But I would like to show you what happens when you have excellent math skills and a college degree. Thanks for joining us, little dude. You are so welcome. All right, let's get started. Go ahead and read this problem for me. Most certainly. A college conducted a survey of randomly selected freshmen about their choice of major. The table shows the results of the survey. Freshman majors, that's the name of this particular table. The table is about freshman majors. Major, that's the heading for this particular column of the table, so everything in this column will be a major. And number of freshmen is the heading for this particular column, and so all of these numbers, you'll notice each and every single one of these is a number. It's because it's the number of freshmen. And so we can conclude that the number in this line is the number of freshmen who chose the major in this line. Thank you. All right, so now the top of this table says English. English is the major, and 50 is the number of freshmen. This means that there were 50 number of freshmen who chose English as their major. That's true. You don't have to go through it in detail like that. The next line says science. Science is the major, and we continue across, and the science line has a 35. That 35 again is in the column called number of freshmen. And so the number of freshmen who chose science as their major is 35. All right, let's just skip down to the question. Engineering is the next line on the table. The major is engineering. The number of freshmen in this particular line is 40. 40 freshmen chose engineering as their major. All right, that's enough. Business. Business has a 45. Now, these two are in the same line, so the 45 matches the business. The number of freshmen is 45. The major is business. There were 45 freshmen who chose business as their major. Okay, education. Education, the major education, there were 60 who chose that. That's 60 number of freshmen choosing education as their major. Don't forget, this table is all about freshman majors. Undecided. Undecided here. I knew quite a few chaps like that. Undecided is the major. Now, that's not actually a major. It means they couldn't decide on a major. You can't major in undecided. Undecided major. That were 50 freshmen who did not decide on a major. Other. Now, people who majored in other, the number of freshmen were 20. Why, if this were a survey of my college, that would be me. Wait. Oh, yeah, because math isn't one of these majors listed. Well, I suppose it's not, but what does that have to do with me? What did you major in? Public speaking, of course. Public speaking. Yes, I have a degree for public speaking. You went to college for 4 years and got a little piece of paper that says you know how to talk? Not talk, public speak. Yeah, and what is speaking? It's a form of art in which people, they talk. You got a paper for talking. You have a college diploma for talking. Would you like me to read these choices for you? Can you do any math at all? Not one bit, but I can. My apologies, kids. I need to screen my college applicants a little more carefully. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to figure out which inference about all freshmen at this college is best supported by this information. Now, it doesn't say which of these statements is true because it doesn't have to be true, but it's probably true since the freshmen were randomly selected. Now, if you had only conducted a survey of a certain group, maybe people in the drama club or people who were walking to class at 9 a.m., there's no reason to think that this group would match the whole college. But if I had all the freshmen in the whole college standing just in a field somewhere, walking around, no pattern whatsoever, like wouldn't even let them talk to each other, so they wouldn't hang out with people who had similar interests. They're just walking around at random, blindfolded. And I zoomed in on a group at random, then just because there's no reason it wouldn't be, this random group should pretty well match the entire freshman class at this college. So here's my giant magnifying glass. Here's a cool little thing to make it look like a magnifying glass. And all this means, because it's randomly selected, is that this group should be similar to the entire freshman class. So it says here, which inference is about all freshmen? So I know what the group is. That's what's inside my magnifying glass. And it wants to know, what can I decide about all the freshmen in the entire field based on what I'm looking at through the magnifying glass? And let's see what makes sense. Again, I don't have to decide if it's true or not. I want to see what's best supported by this information. So the number of freshmen who chose English as their major, which right now I can see here is 50, is less than the number of freshmen who are undecided. Well, according to the data, there's 50 in each. That's not 50 less than 50, they're the same. So this one doesn't make any sense. According to the data, the freshmen who chose English and the freshmen who chose undecided are the same. Now, is it possible that in real life that the freshman who chose English as their major is less than the number? Well, sure, because let's say that there's just an odd guy wandering around, and when you count up all the freshmen everywhere, it ends up being 500, 350, 400, 450, 600, and then here it's actually 501. Well, yeah, then 500 is less than 501, but there's no reason to think that based on the information. Based on the information, we expect them to be the same. The next choice is the number of freshmen who chose education as their major, so here we're looking at 60, is greater than the number of freshmen who chose science or other. So here we're going to put these two groups together. Science or other gives us a total of 55. Is 60 greater than 55? Sure is. So this one makes sense, but I'm not going to circle it yet because these numbers are so close that it's very believable in real life that there's not a big difference between all the freshmen. So if I'm trying to say something about all the freshmen, I'm not going to jump to conclusions too quickly. Let me check H and J as well. The number of freshmen who chose business or education, so I'm looking at both these two groups together, total of 105 here, is less than the number of freshmen who chose science or engineering. So these two groups here, which I put them together, I get 75. This one is the most wrong I've seen. It's possible F was true. It's possible G is not true. But if this magnifying glass gives us a good picture, it doesn't have to be a perfect picture, but if it gives us a good picture of the college as a whole, there's no way that a good picture would be this far off unless it was, in real life, more education or business majors than science or engineering. So H is like super wrong. J says the number of freshmen who chose business as their major is greater than the number of freshmen who chose English as their major. So my business people, that's 45. It says that should be greater than freshmen who chose English, which is 50. Again, in real life, it's possible that there were just some extra English majors out there somewhere and we accidentally randomly missed them. But as far as being supported by the information, this statement's false. So we'd say it's probably not J either. G was our best bet, and it is correct. How about this example? Same kind of a deal. The manager of a music store surveyed a random sample. Boom. we know this is going to be a good picture, not a perfect picture, but a good picture of all the customers. He didn't sort by or sample by a certain group. People who came in at a time of day or a day of the week, people who bought a certain album. No, just every customer who comes in, pick them at random. So this should be a good picture of everybody, just because there's no reason it wouldn't be. That's how random samples work. So of all his customers who shop in the store, he surveys them about their favorite type of music. So here's the data we have. It should be a good picture of what people in his store actually like. So let's see which inferences based on this information are the most valid, or we'll see if there's even any that are valid besides the right answer, okay? So we're looking for ones that make sense. F says they are certain to select rock or pop music. That means no matter what, when somebody comes in, they're going to buy one of these two, which is crazy talk because clearly people buy, rock or pop. So even though those are the two biggest groups, there's plenty of people who don't buy either of those. So F is crazy. That can't be right. They are less likely to select country or rap than rock music. So if I put country and rap together into one group called country rap, which sounds absolutely impossible, but I know a guy who raps about country music, so maybe it's fine. It says they're less likely to select country or rap, but when I look at those numbers together, they're actually a bigger group combined than rock is by itself. So G doesn't quite make sense. I'm not as confident as F. F is super wrong. G is just regular wrong. H says they're more likely to select country music than jazz music, and then classical or rap. So now it's comparing country music by itself to jazz, classical, or rap, all three of these combined. So if we add these up, 12 and 9 is 21, 26. That's true. I mean, 27 is a bigger number than 26, but it's so close that I'm going to go ahead and check J just in case. I'm not super confident about H, even though it is valid. They are certain to select. Let me tell you right now, I could cross this off. If it's certain, it's almost always, and you'll see I won't even say certain, it's almost always an exaggeration, and therefore wrong. So let's check it out. They are certain to select any type of music other than jazz. What about these 5 people? This says those 5 people didn't exist, but the information on the table says they did exist, so sorry, Jay. This one also has to be H. And then I guess I'll just do more math all by myself, since I lost any hope of college graduates helping me at all. But, Tori? You didn't leave with SpongeBob? You're still here? That's awesome. Do you like math?
Actually, it terrifies me.
That figures. All right.